Alright, here's a review of the practice assignment 11. These are the 3 questions that it appears we struggled the most on. Question 7, only 13% got that question correct. Question 10, 20% got that one correct. And then question 12, 25% got that one correct. So we're going to look at these questions here and try and figure out where we made our mistakes and correct those. On the first question, we were looking for infinite number of solutions. So for an infinite number of solutions, we want both of the equations to equal each other. So if we go ahead and look at this y term here, we notice that y appears to have been multiplied by 2 to give me 2y. And I can do that with my x term, multiply by 2. That's going to let me know that that letter a, the coefficient of x in that second equation, should be 4. And then for our constant terms here at the end, alright, if I continue to multiply by 2, that lets me know that b should have been 8. Previously, when we've asked similar questions to create an equation that would have infinite number of solutions, it's included the distributive property. So it may have looked something like this, where let's say you were given y equals 2x plus 4, and then you were given y equals, let's say, a times x plus 2, and it asks you to fill in what a should be. Alright, well, we've done problems similar to that before, and we could see that a should be a 2, so that way when I multiply it or distribute it, that would end up giving me my 2x and 4, so they would both equal each other. So this is a new way that they might ask you to create an equation that would have an infinite number of solutions. But we know that more often than not, when we've been in pre-algebra, we've looked at examples that have one solution. And we can quickly tell that an equation is going to have only one solution if we look at the coefficients of x. Alright, if those coefficients are different, alright, then when we set these two equations equal to each other, so let's say that I set 2x plus 4 equals x plus 4, and I try and get the x's on the same side, and I'm left with x plus 4 equals 4, and I subtract 4 from both sides, I'm left with x equals 0. Alright, I'm left with one solution when the coefficients are different. Alright, if you were to put that x equals 1, that would be incorrect. If you put x equals 100, that would be incorrect. The only answer that would be correct would be x equaling 0. Alright, and then the other type of option that we have is where it would have no solution. And this one would be if the coefficients of x are the same. Alright, but the constant terms are different. So if I were to solve this and put the two equations set equal to each other, I would try and get the x's on the same side, and I end up having them cancel out, and I'm left with 4 equals 5. Well, that statement's not true. So since that statement is not true, that will let me know that I have no solution. Alright, let's look at question number 10, and this asks us to find the difference, or the distance between points J and K. Alright, so there are two methods that are listed in our OneNote notes. We can either draw a right triangle and use the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between the 2 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be one leg measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 would be my other leg measurement. And then I would need to solve for the hypotenuse, or the distance between J and K, that diagonal distance there. Pythagorean theorem tells me to take my 2 leg measurements, a squared plus b squared, add them together, and that will give me c squared. So if I said 9 squared plus 12 squared, that would give me c squared, or 81 plus 144. 9 times 9 gave me 81. 12 times 12 gave me 144, would give me c squared. 81 plus 144 comes out to 225. And if I just want to get c and get rid of that squared, I would take the square root. And the square root of 225 is 15. So that would be the distance between J and K. You could have also decided to use the distance formula. Alright, the distance formula says that the distance is going to be equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Well, if I want to use that method, I need 2 ordered pairs. So J is located at -4, comma, -3. K is located at 8, comma, 6. It doesn't matter which one of these ordered pairs you call 1 and which one you call 2. So I'll just call this one 1 and this one 2. So that would make -4 my x1 term and -3 my y1 term. 8 would be my x2 term and 6 would be my y2 term. I'll plug those numbers into this distance formula here. x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is -4. I'm going to end up squaring that, plus my y2, which is 6, minus my y1, which is -3. I'm going to end up squaring that as well. Whenever you subtract a negative, that's going to turn into just addition. So I end up with 12 and 9, just like I had before. When I square those, I get 144 plus 81, which is 225. And my last step is to take the square root of it in order to get the distance. So you could have either used the distance formula or drawing a right triangle in order to find the distance between points J and K. Question 12, which was the last question on the assignment, was the third most difficult question. Only 25% got it correct. This is a two-way frequency table. You'll notice that some information is missing, specifically the totals. So we can fill in this information by using what has already been given to us. So if I add up 49 and 63, that gives me 112, which is the number of 7th grade students that were surveyed. If I add up 58 and 51, that gives me 109, which would be the amount of 8th grade students that were surveyed. If I want to find out the total amount of students that were surveyed, I can add up 112 and 109 and see that there were 221 students surveyed. I can also get the total of students that were surveyed that answered that they exercised 5 hours or less than 5 hours last week. So if I add 49 plus 58, that would give me 107. And if I add up 63 and 51, that would give me 114 students that exercise 5 or more hours. And I can check my totals. I can add up 107 and 114 and see that that gives me 221. So we can use this information in order to answer these questions down here and select each correct statement. So there could be more than one. All right. First question says, our first statement is more 8th grade students were surveyed than 7th grade students. Well, if I look at those totals, that statement is not correct. There were 3 more 7th grade students than 8th grade students surveyed. The second statement, a total of 221 students were surveyed, that would be correct. We can see that in our bottom right-hand box here, the total amount of students surveyed. All right, now we're going to see less than 50% of the 8th grade students surveyed. So we always look after the word of to find our denominator. 8th grade students surveyed, which is 109. That would be our denominator. Exercised 5 or more hours. All right, well, 5 or more hours of 8th grade students would be 51. So I can go ahead and divide that. 51 divided by 109. And that comes out to 0.467. And in order to take that decimal and make it a percent, I can multiply by 100. And that comes out to approximately 47%, which is less than 50%. So that one would be true as well. It says more than 50% of students surveyed, so my denominator this time is 221. That's the amount of students surveyed. Exercise less than 5 hours. Less than 5 hours would be 107. And if I do 107 divided by 221, that comes out to 0.484. Again, multiply by 100, and that's going to be approximately 48%. And that is not more than 50%. And then the last statement says a total of 107 7th graders were surveyed. And we can see that that total is incorrect. There were 112. So just the second and third statement would be the 2 correct statements out of the ones that we had options of. So you're going to use these notes here in order to do a practice 11 review assignment. It's going to be 3 questions, very similar. First question will be about the number of solutions to a system. The second question will be about the distance between 2 points. And the third question will be a two-way frequency table. And that assignment will be due at the end of class on Thursday. And then for Friday, your assignment will be practice assignment 12, which is 7 questions. And that will be due at the end of the day on Friday. So make sure that you're getting those assignments done, and I will be checking them at the end of the day each day on Thursday and Friday for credit.